What's up, FA Nation? It's time for another edition of Fantasy Alarm Sports Talk. I'm Jen Piacenti, joined today by my pal, Adam Ronis. Adam, all the way up to when they hit go. We were talking about some bets we were making. What are you looking at right now? I'm over on Bovada right now. I just made an in-game bet on the Pirates, on the Twins, having a 4.5 run differential, beating the Pirates by more than 4.5. What are you betting on?
That? Yeah, obviously the Twins are up 3-0 right now. Jose Barrios just got out of a bases loaded 1-out situation. Keep no runs on the board. For baseball, as of now, I mean, it's early. I mean, I got my article out on wageralarm.com, so there was only one there. I'm trying to get it out early and, have plenty to do today. But I have the over on the Mariners-Angels game. Both teams struggling pitching-wise. Andrew Heaney is on the mound for the Angels. And he's pitched well, but Dunn takes the mound for Seattle, only went 3 innings last game. Mike Trout is due back tonight. They called up Joe Adell, and the Angels did score quite a few runs against the Mariners. So I like the over 9 in that game tonight.
I like that. Okay, I might go make that bet myself. So, yeah, I just got on mine in. I got the Oakland Athletics over the Rangers. What else have I got here? The White Sox
against the Brewers.
Over the Brewers. Yeah, which is not going to make me any money. Not a good line, but whatever. Just having some fun over here. Bored, guys. Because you know what? My fantasy teams suck. You know why? Because I can't field a complete team. What is up? So last night, big news. Mike Soroka tears his Achilles. He's out for the season. So who's down now? Justin Verlander's down. Shohei Ohtani's shut down for the season. It's just a freaking mess. These guys can't stay healthy. Do you have Soroka on any of your teams, Adam?
No, I was really not interested in him this year. I mean, I know he had a great year last year. The lack of strikeouts concerned me. Then, obviously, the National League pitchers taking a little bit of a hit, having to face the DH. But I only did one draft after the stoppage. That's the one we were in together with the GDP. Yeah. But Soroka wasn't on my radar, but it was terrible. I was watching it live, and I knew right away that it was really bad. So we've seen a ton of injuries. I mean, that one is a fluky one, non-contact play. But I think a lot of the other injuries with pitchers and hitters is the ramp up. They just didn't have a proper time. They were, had spring for maybe a month, then 4 months off. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing these injuries pile up at an alarming rate. And there are some teams that are just in trouble right now. I mean, if you had 2 or 3 of those pitchers on your roster in a deeper format, it's tough. I mean, the closers are an absolute mess. And then you have to deal with the scheduling with COVID-19 and all these cancellations. So it's been a very hectic start to fantasy baseball.
And on that closer note, Dusty Baker was just on a radio interview about a half hour ago and said it looks very bad for Roberto Osuna, worse than it looks for Justin Verlander. So you need to go ahead, guys, and go pick up Ryan Presley right now. He's probably the main candidate in line, though who knows? He had a cuticle issue last week. It could go to Stubbs. It could go to Blake Taylor. It could go anyway. That's kind of a mess over there in the pen in Houston. But do figure out a solution for Roberto Osuna. Maybe Cole Sulser if he's available. Looks like he could be starting to get some saves. And Rowan Wick. Looks like Kimbrel's been just abominable this year. So Jefferson Wick kind of next in line there. But it's time to go hunt down those saves. Who are you targeting as far as starting pitching if you need to make some moves?
I mean, it depends who's available.
Right.
I picked up Alec Mills over the weekend for his 2-start week, and he had 7 scoreless yesterday against Kansas City. So I was able to get him in a couple leagues. That was the main guy I was looking at this week. I mean, Javier obviously was picked up and spent big money on a ton of leagues. So, I mean, it all depends. I play in a lot of deeper leagues, 15 teams, where there's not much on the waiver wire.
I know.
12-team leagues, there might be a little bit more. But in the 15-team leagues, pitching's getting awfully thin right now. I mean, Tyler Mahle could be out there in a 12 maybe. He's going today. Cleveland offense hasn't really been hitting. But, I mean, you just have to do what you can at this point because it's a very thin for pitchers on the mound right now. I mean, maybe Matt Shoemaker was dropped because he's had some time off. He's not a bad guy. Pablo Lopez, Marlins. He's not that bad. So, there's decent arms out there. Maybe Burns was dropped or Freddie Peralta as they.
Spencer Turnbull might still be out there. It's possible. And
got to get him. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think he's out there in a lot of leagues, but I mean, I don't look at the percentage
the smaller
ownership
leagues. Yeah.
in those leagues. So I just kind of take the questions as they're asked to me because in most of these leagues, all these pitchers for me are gone because I played a lot of 15-team leagues.
Same for me. Super frustrating. I was able to get Brady Singer, but I do have wonderful news, and that is it is Jesus Luzardo Day. Happy Jesus Luzardo Day. I'm so excited to see him make his first major league start. He's to start this week. He's one of the reasons that I'm kind of off to a slow start is that I decided to take Jesus Luzardo knowing he was going to start in relief. I knew I was taking that hit, but I thought I would get paid back. And you know what? It may pay off because some of these starters are only going 1 or 2 games anyway. Strasburg shut down. You know, lots of people shut down already, so it may be okay. He's got 2 starts this week as well as Lucas Giolito. And another thing I'm behind on is I've been holding on to Austin Meadows, but it looks like maybe he will be back.
He is back
today.
He's batting leadoff tonight,
which is good news. So I want to give you guys hope out there. There's literally, I am so far behind in this league. Adam and I are in. I may not be able to claw my way out, but half my team hasn't been playing. So I'm holding on to hope that we can still get some stuff together. Made some waiver wire ads over the weekend. I want to ask you about some people, if you think they're for real or not, that are out on the waiver wire. How about Mike Yastrzemski?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been good. The Giants have been surprisingly playing well offensively. It seems like the ball is jumping out a little bit in that park. He draws a ton of walks, so he had a good year last year. Just 21 homers in 107 games. So, yeah, I mean, if he's available, I'd pick him up.
And how about Kyle Lewis?
I mean, look, he's a guy that I think could slump at some point because he strikes out a ton, but he's got elite power, and we know Seattle's kind of rebuilding. He's going to play every day, but just be prepared. I mean, clearly he's not going to hit for a high average. He strikes out almost 40% of the time. So we know that average is going to come down, but the power's there. Look, this year is different than any year. It's not – you just have to pick up anyone who's playing every day and is performing, and then once they start to slump, you cut them. I mean, it's a different season, which is why it's very unique for me because I'm the one who is patient and knows that – my guys are going to turn it around. I mean, I've had a couple years in tout where my ERA was in the 4s or 5s and my WHIP was 1.4 after 2 months, and I was able to come back and win the league or at least get back in contention because, I had guys that were, underperforming early in the year, and I just stayed patient, picked up some guys off the waiver wire. I was able to get that ERA and WHIP back in check. It's going to be more difficult to do this year. We just don't have the time. So a couple bad starts could really put you behind, and you're going to be forced to take more chances. So the key now is getting as many at-bats as possible, and it's challenging with these cancellations. We do get the Marlins back in action. The Cardinals are still off, probably going to return on Friday, and you just have to hope that we don't get any more of these COVID-19 cases running through these clubhouses, canceling games. There's been teams that have only played Marlins have played 3 games, Phillies have played 4. The Cardinals are now behind, so it's a real problem if you have players on those teams.
So I'm also a patient player, and I think there are still many players you need to be patient with, but I want to ask you your level of concern for a few of them. Ronald Acuna has the most strikeouts in the league. In fact, the Atlanta Braves as a team have struck out the most as a whole so far this year, but they're still 7-4. So to me, I'm like, doesn't matter. You hang on. Imagine once they turn on the gas, like how incredible they're going to be. I'm not worried about Ronald Acuna. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, any of those top guys, you got to sink or swim with them. I mean, someone was asking me the other day, one of my friends, should he trade Bellinger? I'm like, no. And of course, he homered yesterday. So with the top guys, for the most part, unless you see something alarming, I'm going to sink or swim with them. I mean, there's a reason why you take those guys in the first round. So unless there's something that's clearly alarming or there's an injury, I'm going to roll with them unless, you get overwhelmed in a trade.
Yeah, and certainly you don't want to fall for this. I mean, I've already had some people try to make some trades with me that are like, okay, I'm not panicking that much yet. And I've had people ask me trade questions. It isn't time to trade Gleyber Torres for Tyler Chatwood. It's not the time. Like, just calm down, bring it down, And I'm not going to give up Jesus Luzardo and Austin Meadows for Merrill Kelly. Not doing it. Not panicking that much. And John Berti. No, it's not going to happen. So you have to keep your head about you a little bit. It's easy to panic. And, we've been saying to you guys, don't hold on too long. It's a sprint, not a marathon this year, but there's a healthy balance. If it's a guy that has historically been good, some of these guys have only played 7 games. Just give them a little time to warm up and get into the swing of things. Certainly Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton seem to be having no issues. What about Teoscar Hernandez? You buying that one?
Well, I liked him going into the year. I have him in quite a few leagues. I have him in Tout Wars. I have him in this GST league. So I was a big fan. I wanted him in GDD, but it came to the end of the auction where I think I only had $1, and I was losing out on a lot of those cheaper outfielders I like. Teoscar Hernandez, Nick Senza, I didn't get them. But at the same time, though, I wouldn't go crazy with Hernandez. I think the average is still going to be an issue. But he's got pop and he's got speed. He's already got 2 stolen bases. Love this Blue Jays lineup. So, yeah, I do like him. I mean, clearly, if he's out there, I'd pick him up. But I was a big fan of his going into the year. The other thing you need to do is, don't look at the overall standings. Look at the categories. I mean, an example, in our GDD league, here's the RBIs, okay? 63, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 59, 59, 58, 58. I got 58. So I'm 5 points out of first in RBIs. So right now I got 6.5. Top is 14.5. I have a big day today. I'm picking up 8-9 points in RBIs. So just kind of look at where you are in the categories. Now you, on the other hand, you have 36 RBIs.
Bad.
So, yeah, you're in a little trouble there.
Bad way. No, I'm out on runs and RBI. I'm fine. I can still crawl my way back on home runs, ERA, WHIP, wins, saves, stolen bases. All those are fine. It's going to be a tough road for me for RBI runs. So it can happen. You never know. I never give up. Truly, this is the worst I've ever started a season, but I have faith. I have faith. It just, if you can't field a team, if you're not playing games, if you don't have at-bats, you can't do anything. So just try to, breathe through it. That's what I'm doing. What about Jacoby Jones? Are you buying it?
Yeah, I picked him up in the GDD league about a week.
I
know. I mean, the negative part is he hits 9th in the order, and it's not a great Tigers lineup, but he's got a little pop, a little speed. Stole 7 bases last year in 88 games, so I don't think he continues this pace. But again, I'm playing the hot hand right now, and you have to do it in a lot of leagues. I mean, you're trying to get at bats. On the unfortunate part with him is the Tigers are not playing till Friday because they were scheduled to play the Cardinals. So. Hopefully you guys saw that and took your Tigers and Cardinals out of your weekly lineups this week. In a daily league, it's a little different. But, I in 15-team league, sure, I'm going to add him. And I'm going to roll with him as long as he's playing well.
A couple of prospects got called up recently. Dalton Varsho of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then yesterday, Joe Adell. What's your excitement level for Joe Adell and the Angels?
I might not be as excited as other people. I would pick him up, but he did struggle a little bit at the minor league level. But he is one of the top prospects, and sometimes we've seen it where the prospects don't do great in the minor leagues, come up and crush it. So he is available in one of my leagues. It's so funny.
Really?
Someone dropped him Sunday night. You talk about bad. And you know what? I can't blame anyone, though. Think about it.
Yeah.
You weren't sure exactly. I mean, I didn't hear that he was going to get called up last week. And, you draft him, you hold on to him for a week and a half. And I didn't look at that specific team, but maybe they had injuries. Maybe they weren't getting at bats. And it's like, all right, well, how long can you hold on to the guy for? That's just kind of bad luck where you're just like, oh, man, I can't believe this. But, he at AAA last year, he struggled. He didn't homer in 27 games and batted .264, a .321 OBP, and a .355 slugging. But it was only 27 games. So we've seen these prospects come up in recent years and actually crush immediately. So, yeah, I mean, I would add him if he's out there. And, you hope that, he lives up to the billing that he's had. But I wouldn't also be surprised if he, struggles initially. But I'll be looking to pick him up in that league. I haven't checked other leagues to see if he's available.
Well, Nick Madrigal did well his first timeout. So I'm just
Liddell's
loving.
not available in our GDD league, by the way.
Yeah, no, I figured. I was trying to get him. Nobody's available in our GDD league. I was lucky to get Brian Goodwin. Brian Goodwin, Adam. That's what I had to do, which isn't a bad pick. Like, might get some average, might be fine, but that's a ride the hot hand kind of situation. The Angels are like batting 221 as a team. They stink. Somebody has to be good. I'm hoping it will be David Fletcher and Brian Goodwin because I have a few shares of them. So maybe Tommy La Stella. I don't know. That's my hope. So what are you going to do? Nate Pearson was great. Looking forward to him again this week. And getting the Blue Jays back. I mean, haven't you missed the Blue Jays?
I have Bo Bichette in our league and in TGFBI. I have Kayvon Biggio. I have Teos Hernandez. I have Randall Grichuk. I have quite a few Blue Jays because I love that lineup. So I missed them this past week. So happy to get them back. I have quite a few Phillies too, and they were, last week missing games, and then of course today they get rained out against the Yankees, and they canceled that game way too early. I know the forecast was terrible. It's not raining in New York right now, so and I don't think it's going to be rained by game time. So the forecast called bad, the hurricane and everything, and there were heavy winds, but seems like they canceled that game a little bit too early. But they'll play the doubleheader on Wednesday.
7 innings only. So that's another thing, guys.
Fantasy, we get less bats.
You're getting less at bats. It may matter. You may feel more confident about starting certain pitchers and then going longer. Just remember, you need to think about that. The 7-inning games, and if they're double headers, that is a different way to look at it. Also, you should realize that these Cardinals games, they may or may not be made up. At this point, they need to make up 7 games. They're only going to make them up if time permits, and they will go by winning percentage. So don't try to think too sneaky I'm going to go ahead and hoard Marlins and Cardinals now because at the end of the season, I'm going to get all these extra games and all these extra points. Might not work out that way. Just get the bats now while you can before another unknown man goes down, and just do what you can. It's crazy. And speaking of men going down, NFL has officially said the opt-out date is Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That is when NFL players must opt out for the season should they choose to opt out. And then their contract will toll to the next year. So we're going to see a lot of people probably over the next day or two. If you're doing a draft, please wait. Please wait till after Thursday, 4 p.m. to start it. And if you're doing a slow draft, I'm sorry, because everybody's taking as much time as possible. What's your feeling about the opt-outs? Do you think there's going to be a lot more? I mean, Damian Williams, obviously the biggest one so far, fantasy-wise.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a lot. I mean, seeing comments from players, it sounds like a lot of them feel the safety protocols are in place. I saw a comment from Devontae Adams today. I think he has a 1-year-old kid, and he said he's not going to opt out. We've heard Odell Beckham say he's not going to opt out after comments a couple of weeks ago where he was concerned. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. We know there are certain players that have these health conditions. Mark Andrews is diabetic, but he has said he's going to play. You always wonder if they change their mind last second, but I don't think it's going to be too drastic.
Good. I hope not. I can't take a lot more. But, obviously if people need to opt out, they need to opt out. It is nice that we're going to have some sort of a deadline. So we know, we've already seen in MLB, Nick Markakis opt back in. So what do you do there?
Well, as far as I'm really not interested in him in fantasy to begin with. I mean, he doesn't have much power. He's been more of an average guy. He'll probably be back in a week. He in 15-team leagues, maybe there's not much out there. You want to roll with him, but average over a month and a half is, it can go either way. I mean, he could easily hit 220, he could hit 320, but doesn't have enough power. So really not interested in him for fantasy.
So NFL wise, we had a big tight end signing this week, Jordan Reed. So are you concerned about George Kittle's playing time?
Nope, not one bit. Jordan Reed obviously has not shown the ability to stay healthy for a long time. The concussions have been a major issue. Look, he's always been good when he's been on the field, but this is George Kittle, and if people want to downgrade him, good, because I'll take Kittle. I'm open to taking Kittle late second round because I've said it many times, I don't like the running backs that are there. and there's some receiver depth. So that was going to be my plan in the FSGA league. It was a 14-team league, and I was picking third, and I was hoping to get Kelsey or Kittle, but neither made it to me at the end of round 2. But I have seen drafts where they do. So I'm not concerned about Kittle. And, I think he should benefit, too, with Deebo Samuel out to begin the year. I also think the 49ers defense won't be as dominant as they were last year. I think they're going to have to pass more. They have a really good schedule to open up. And Kittle is due for a positive touchdown regression. I know he had at least 3 or 4 touchdowns called back due to penalty last year. In fact, 2 of them were in one game. So we're kind of waiting for that big touchdown season from Kittle. I mean, he has the ability to get double-digit touchdowns. A lot of it is due to the 49ers running game being so good, and they run a lot. But there's going to be a season where he scores 10, 11 touchdowns, and it could be this year.
So is there any situation where you could see yourself drafting Jordan Reed?
No, unless it's a 25-round draft, a tight end premium league. Mm-hmm. But I just don't see him, doing enough. And you also have to worry about him staying healthy. So I don't see it.
How about Chris Herndon?
I like Chris Herndon. I liked him last year, and I did draft him. And obviously that did not work out. He had the suspension, aggravated his hamstring injury, and I think he played in 1-2 games. No, I definitely like Chris Herndon because we're getting him at a bargain. And I don't know if the situation is much different than it was going into last year. We know he had a solid rapport with Sam Darnold 2 years ago in his rookie year. So I love Herndon as a second tight end. I don't know if I have gotten him yet, but he's definitely on my radar as a tight end.
I agree. I think Herndon's a great late round dart throw. I mean, I think he's got a lot of talent. We didn't see his full season last year. My only concern is how Adam Gase will use him. It's a different coaching staff than when he was originally with Sam Darnold. So it's definitely a boomer bust option. What about David Njoku? Because now, Adam, he's all for Cleveland. He's on the team. He's go Browns. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not interested. Yeah. I don't like Austin Hooper either. I just think, we know they're probably going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, but it's going to be primarily a running team. They really upgraded their offensive line. They have Odell Beckham. I know Jarvis Landry is on the pup for now. We'll see if he starts the year coming off the hip surgery. Sounds like he will. I just don't think there's enough to go around. So it would take an injury to Austin Hooper to really get interested in Njoku. And even then, I don't think there's going to be enough volume if things play out the way the Browns want it to. And I think it's going to be a heavy run team. So I'm not interested in Njoku.
Okay, let me ask you this. You're pretty high on OBJ this year, right?
I don't know if I'm pretty high on him. I think I only have him in 1 league. But I do like him. I think he can bounce back, yeah.
Do you like him more than Allen Robinson?
No, I have Robinson ranked higher.
More than Robert Woods?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a little concerned about the OBJ hype. I know everyone's really high on him this year, and besides his injury issues and his attitude problems and whatever, the fact that yesterday he came out and said that he thinks the NFL should cancel the season, guys, there's just...
No, that was a mistake. Those comments were 2 weeks ago.
Well, it was published yesterday. He said that 2 weeks ago. I still don't like it. I don't like it. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't like being there. I don't like it. I don't like the clubhouse.
I don't know about that. I mean... look, if he's going to go out there and play it, I don't think it's a big deal. So I think health was a big factor last year. He tried to play through that injury and clearly wasn't 100%. He probably should have taken the time off. So give him credit for playing through it. Of course, he was working with a new quarterback, which is always a concern. And the offense was a disaster last year. Yeah. So, but I'm fine. I mean, we're getting Beckham at, 3rd round price tag. Sometimes you can get him as your second wide receiver, which is what I did in FSGA. So I'm fine with that because he's going to get the targets in this offense, even if they don't throw a ton. I mean, he had 133 targets last year. So if they become more efficient this year with Baker Mayfield having more time to throw, I think there's a high upside for Beckham. So he's not like someone I have to have, but in the right situation, like the FSGA, I took him.
Yeah, I think we just keep buying into this. This is the year the Browns are going to be good. No, really, this is the year the Browns are going to be good. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be good, y'all. They're not. You know why? Baker Mayfield. Because he's a jerk. I don't like him.
Oh, no. He had a good rookie year.
One.
He's been in the league. This is his 3rd year in the league. Last year was a disaster.
Yeah, last year he stunk. And his attitude stinks. And his quote stinks. And he's mean. And I don't like him. And he also dresses like a homeless person. So no. Don't buy into the Browns. Okay, fine. You can get Jarvis Landry. Maybe OBJ if he's like 4th round. But don't go hang your hat on that guy. No way. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying every year, this is the year the Browns are going to be good. Remember how good they're going to be last year? They're still not good. They're still the Browns.
I thought last year they were overhyped too much, and I wasn't buying into their success. But they did the right things in the offseason, and they upgraded the offensive line. That was the biggest problem. Baker Mayfield was under constant duress, and the play calling was ridiculous for when your quarterback doesn't have time and you're asking him to take 5 or 7 step drops. It made no sense. So I just like what they did upgrading the offensive line. That was the key. I mean, we already saw Nick Chubb have a huge year last year with that bad offensive line. So now they're going to be able to run the ball very efficiently, and Baker Mayfield's going to have time. So I think they do have an improved year. Now, the division's tough. The Ravens are still very good. I think the Steelers will be improved, and they have a top-notch defense. So that's the thing. So from a win-loss perspective, I think they'll be improved. I'm not saying they'll win the division, but I think the offense will be way more efficient this year.
Well, I will say they've given Baker every opportunity to show that he's a good player with what they did in the draft and the moves that they made. So I hope that he can prove me wrong for the sake of all you Cleveland fans and you Baker Mayfield truthers out there. So let me ask you now, where are you taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Is he a first-round draft pick for you? How early is he before Derrick Henry?
Yeah, I would take him before Derrick Henry. He is a first-round pick to me. We'll see if they bring in a veteran, but he's dynamic. He's going to a prolific offense. We know he can catch the football. Mahomes is going to target him quite a bit, even if he doesn't have a ton of carries. I mean, he could be like that, Alvin Kamara type where it's, 190 to 210 carries, but really gets it done in the passing game. I'm not saying he's going to catch 81 like Kamara has done 3 straight years, but, you want the running back in this offense. I mean, Damian Williams has never been a great player at all, and he went to Kansas City, and look how good he looked. So
yeah, Damian Williams only got 37 targets of the 111 last year. And then after that was Darrell Williams with 20, and I think LaShawn McCoy had like 34. So, Damian Williams only had a third of the targets, and he was still a really productive fantasy asset. So imagine if you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's arguably the best pass catcher that ever came out of the backfield of LSU. I think there is a lot of upside there. Now, of course, I don't know if I would take him before Derrick Henry, though, because he's still a rookie. He's still improving. There's still abbreviated training camps. It makes me nervous to do it. But that being said, I had to take him as my RB1 in the mixed draft for Sirius XM, where we did baseball, football. And that was like what everyone said, oh, that was a mistake. And now I'm looking pretty smart. So I got lucky on that one.
Sometimes you get lucky. It happens. Someone took him in the FSGA, I think, in 10 overall, and they were getting ripped. And now you look, and it looks like it was a good move. But yeah, I mean, I haven't. The problem is, I saw a high stakes draft. He went number 1 overall.
Wow.
The hype is just insane. So I think the Superflex draft that I did on Friday, he went 5th overall in a half-point PPR.
Wow. So one more backfield situation to ask you about, the LaShawn McCoy signing. Does this basically just make Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn and LaShawn McCoy all worth nothing? Or is one of them going to emerge? How are you dealing with that? Are you targeting any of them, or do you care?
I don't think LaShawn McCoy does anything. I don't think he has much left at all. So if this is going to push Jones or Keyshawn Vaughn down the board, I'll take them. I haven't taken Ronald Jones yet. I have taken Keyshawn Vaughn. So if Vaughn's going to fall to the 8th, 9th, 10th round, I'll take a shot there. I mean, that's the area where I'm looking at running backs, especially the way I have built my teams with receiver heavy early. I'm taking shots at running backs in those rounds. So if Vaughn is there, I'll definitely take him. I know there's some risk, with the rookie. Pass protection is going to be key. With Tom Brady as the quarterback, you got to make sure that he doesn't get hit. So that's the one concern with Vaughn. But, he was okay in that area in college. So I know Ronald Jones has started getting a little bit more hype recently. Then there was something about, his calves look huge. So we'll see. Oh, yeah. But
Oh, yeah. Have you seen these pictures of Jonathan Taylor? He's totally beast mode. Like,
Austin Eckler's another guy.
Austin Eckler looks fierce. I am all in on Austin Eckler, actually, guys. I kind of did like a dive into Austin Eckler. Like, I do not understand why he's falling to. I've been able to get him at these incredible values, and I'm very, very happy about it. You can leave all the Austin Eckler to me in the second round. I'm happy to take him there. Yeah, he's beast mode, too. They got nothing to do. That's what they should be doing. They're in quarantine.
Yeah, that's true. They really should be working out hardcore at this point.
I mean, why not? It's the best way to protect themselves from injury. It's all they can do. So, and speaking of football, hey, The Rock bought the XFL. The XFL's coming back, baby. Are you excited?
Not really.
No?
I watched it very little. It's just, by that time, I'm getting ready for baseball.
Right.
So there were some positive things, but I wasn't too excited about it.
I mean, I kind of think $15 million is a steal, though. If they can make that thing fly, that seems cheap to me. I mean, they were in bankruptcy, I guess, and he's got some partners, and one of them is a woman. So that's really cool that she's going to be an owner of a sports league. I think the first ever woman of a major sports league female owner of a major sports league, if you can call this major. But, I'm getting excited here. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I think that it's interesting that The Rock himself decided to get in on this, and we'll see what it has to offer. You guys, I want to mention that Adam and Howard are doing a new podcast called Ante Up on the Sawdust Podcast Network, and they talk a lot about bets that you can make. You probably noticed that in short seasons like this, it's kind of frustrating to play seasonal, and we keep talking about that. But the one thing that isn't as frustrating is just going on and making simple bets, money line bets, over under totals, player props, like you can find at Monkey Knife Fight, just fun stuff that keeps it fun. And that's just the situation we're in during COVID-19. So take a listen to this podcast, Ante Up. And I know that Adam writes a lot of articles about high stakes stuff, wagers, and we got to try to keep you covered there. So check that out. And thank you for being my expert with me here today, Adam, giving me your time. I hope you win everything.
Me too.
Except for GDD. I hope you don't win that.
I'm making a charge there. My team, I lost Corey Kluber. That was a killer.
That's a blow,
and,
yeah.
I really liked Kenta Maeda a lot, and now I kind of wish that I had kind of spent that money. I had Nando DeFino got him, and I had told him, I really liked that pick. I think he went up to 15 on Maeda. I was very high on Maeda this year, and but I do get Juan Soto back tonight, so I activated him. I have not had Juan Soto yet, so hopefully I can win it. It looks like it's going to be a tight battle, as we expect in this short season. It's going to be hectic, and just do the best you can. Set your lineup every day, make these pickups. It's not what we're used to, but the good thing is we have baseball, and I've had so much fun watching baseball and basketball all day. My thumb is going to be sore from flicking through the channels.
Me too. I'm having so much fun. I feel like life is starting to be just a smidgen of normal again.
Wait a second. Juan Soto's not in the lineup tonight? You got to be kidding me, man.
Can you check Austin Meadows for me? Do they have it out yet? Yes, because I put him in. I even had to drop Miguel Andujar for it.
I dropped a player thinking Soto would be in the lineup.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. I hope you have another option. Oh,
too late.
This is a terrible. You guys, another important thing to do is remember, subscribe to Fantasy Alarm on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. On Twitter and on the website, fantasyalarm.com, you're going to get these player news updates. And player news this season more than ever is really important, up to the very last minute. You could have Chris Bryant calling in saying, I have a stomach bug and I'm going to stay home. Or Joey Votto saying, I think I have a cold, I'm going to stay home. These things happen at the last minute. Or you can have Jonas Cespedes just decide not to show up. So, these are the things you need to know 3 minutes before setting your lineup. So be sure you keep your eye on fantasyalarm.com. And we hope you win all your leagues, all your bets, all your DraftKings, all your DFS today. And Adam and I will be back to talk to you Thursday.